say.
Hey, this is Andre Gower from the Monster Squad, and you're listening to the Real Nerds Podcast.
Hey, Real Nerds listeners, your favorite host Ryan here to remind you that social media is great. How great is it? There's many ways you can find the Real Nerds on social media. You can download us on iTunes. You can listen to us streaming on Stitcher Radio. You can call us 720-6nerds5. Aw man, our website is so cool. You can visit our website, realnerdspodcast.com. You want to leave some fan mail? Oh, that's so easy, realnerds@gmail.com. Twitter, we got it, @real_nerds. You can even like us on Facebook. Thank you so much, and hey, enjoy the show.
Welcome to Real Nerds Podcast, unofficially the official podcast of Denver Comic-Con 2015. I am a host, James Hart, joined as always with Brad.
Hey guys.
Hi, Brad. And then Dan is also here. Hi, Dan.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, Dan?
I'm fantastic.
Good. That's wonderful. We're all doing good. Ryan is not here. Everything fell apart at his work, so he will be here next week, obviously, for our film Splosion, which if you are somewhat new to the show, at the end of every year we do a ridiculously long podcast where we count down our top 10 movies, the three of us. And that's next week, we're thinking Saturday, right?
Or Thursday even?
Yeah, it might even be Thursday. So the what it means there is if you haven't gotten your top 10 list in for us to read or talk about on the show, like you got to do that quick because we're running out of time. So it doesn't even have to be a top 10 list, top 5 list, just your vote for your favorite movie or the movie you hated the most. Or
tell us about an experience that you enjoyed at the theater this year.
Did you see a movie that none of us saw or talked about?
Yeah.
And think that we are remiss for missing?
Did you make new friends at the theater? Was there a delicious pretzel you had? Tell us about those things. If you don't have a top,
if you have a wonderful story about delicious pretzels, I want to hear it.
If you gave birth in a theater,
oh my God,
tell us that story.
What did you name your son? Snake Plissken.
Michael Bay. During Transformers.
I gave birth during Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Of course, if you have a child during Transformers, you got to call it, Optimus Prime or Megatron.
Yeah,
just a given.
Or Shia.
That might be worse than Michael Bay.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, don't name your children Shia. Cool. So we are going to talk about the movie we saw this week. Every week we go see a movie and review it. We got a chance to see The Interview by some miracle this week. So we'll talk about that at the end of the show. We'll say whether or not you should see it. Then we'll play the review, and then we'll talk about it and get into spoilers. Spoilers. Maybe they go to North Korea.
We live to tell the tale.
Right. Yeah.
We survived a screening of The Interview, you guys.
Yeah, there were a lot of cops there. There were like 6 cop cars
and
out
a German Shepherd.
Yeah. There was a canine unit at the
little bag sniffer
at the Alamo Draft House. Yeah, and I had heard that they had requested one cop. So I don't know if like other cops just showed up just to be
hang out.
Yeah, just to be like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's bring the dog. Like, why not?
Hey, Bill.
He's not doing anything.
Are you guarding the Alamo Draft House for the interview tonight? 'Cause I heard some shit might go down. Sounds like fun.
Yeah.
Can I join you?
It would have been funny if there was just like a whole row of cops sitting in the front of the theater. Like, fuck it. Bring it on.
Yeah, if we're going to be here, we're going to enjoy ourselves.
It was weird, though, because they were parked all cattywampus out front of the theater. So as soon as I got there, I was like, oh, shit. North Korea wasn't fucking around.
Something already happened.
They already attacked the Alamo.
Yeah, no, it's like 2 in the back, 1 up on the curb next, and then like 2 in the other side parking lot.
Yeah. It was crazy. But very cool. We will also talk about what we've been watching and some movie news and what's coming out on DVD and box office numbers and all that stuff. So anyway, let's get into it. Well, wait. First, actually, who got what for Christmas? Did you get anything like cool for Christmas, Brad?
I got 2 gift cards.
Yeah.
One for Best Buy and one for Amazon. So Works for me.
Have you spent it all already in
No.
the last 24 hours since Christmas?
Actually, no. I tried to on Amazon, but I'm trying to be smart about it.
Yeah.
So I want to maximize the return on how much, because I got a few more Jean-Claude Van Damme movies to acquire, and then I'm still a little gun shy after receiving broken cases and non-slip covers from things. So
How
definitely.
many of those did you get? Wasn't just the one?
Well, the one Star Trek season was missing 4 discs.
Oh, that's right.
And then 2 other seasons had cracked cases, and then I think 4 of the 6 I got from them had no slip covers. And then the Injustice, the Injustice video game, that case was busted. So, yeah,
That's bad luck.
first world problems, right?
Right. All the stuff that magically showed up in the mail, some of it was broken. Right. No, but you pay money for it. You want it to be good.
Yeah.
Right. I've only bought maybe 4 or 5 Blu-rays or DVDs from Amazon. No problems. But again, small sample size there. And if they sent me the really good ones, shoot 'em up, and they're going to make sure it's a good copy of that. That's not all fucked up. So, and then I did hear about your. Actually, I think I saw it on Twitter. That you're apparently they only send out the 1 and 2 discs instead of all of them, because why would you only want to watch some of them?
Oh, it was only $20 because they didn't give me 4 of the discs.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I know. I was sarcastic about it.
Totally.
And I tweeted them, and they said nothing. So they don't care.
Just at Pepsi.
Another just bitchy little disgruntled affluent white person. Be lucky you have anything.
I feel like if the job of the Amazon Twitter person was to answer all of the customer complaints, that would be the second shittiest job on the that would just be horrible. Yeah, no. And I bet they get that all day long, where it's my box arrived upside down. This is bullshit, Amazon.
Yeah, your sticker was on it crooked.
Oh man,
It's very unprofessional.
How come They Live comes with a buy sticker on it? This is stupid. I already bought it.
I know I ordered Blu-ray, but I want a DVD. How do I make this work in my DVD player?
I bought Shoot 'Em Up, and that movie is not very good. Can I get my money back?
Yeah.
That's not true. That movie's great.
I bought this thinking it was a rental. A $20 rental.
Right.
Can I please give it back after 24 hours? Please, please.
Anyhow,
No, I'm just kidding. I like Shoot 'Em Up.
Yeah.
That movie is.
What'd you guys get?
I didn't get much. I got a vacuum. That's no fun. Actually, it's wildly fun. I vacuumed today. Oh my god, there was so much dirt everywhere, and I didn't even know it.
Yeah, you did the canister was
I'm gonna do
full of dust and everything.
It was fun. I'm gonna do it again tomorrow.
It was fun to vacuum.
Well, it was fun to look at all the gross shit.
Well,
off the floor.
but it's also fun thinking. Well,
yeah. There's the vacuum. Yeah.
The other fun thing is you'll do it again and think, oh man, I'm gonna be really clean and healthy now. This is gonna be real nice.
And then 2 weeks from now, I'll be like, fuck vacuuming.
You'll just be throwing Taco Bell wrappers
God.
on the floor and mashing them into the carpet.
I don't have enough
because you don't care anymore.
Oh, I get winded by the time I'm done vacuuming. This is just ridiculous.
That wasn't a Dyson, was it? What was it?
No, it's a Shark.
Ooh, that sounds way funner.
Yeah, there's this. No, you don't vacuum up Taco Bell. Well, I vacuum up Taco Bell, but not with a vacuum.
With my mouth, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, no, and then I just went online and bought stuff with, money. Because there were some things, for some reason I never got a copy of Gravity, and I actually did miss getting a copy of Guardians of the Galaxy. I didn't pre-order it. So I went ahead and just had those shipped.
Yeah.
The Diamond Lux Gravity. No, I don't know. I'm going to have to go back and look. I don't know that I cared. I think I just wanted the movie, to be completely honest. I don't know. Why? What's on the super special edition?
I don't know what's on it. It comes in that dense, cooler package.
Oh, okay. Fuck.
Mm.
Now I'm going to go back. I ordered it today,
hope it
so
has
I
more
could
stuff on it.
I could still cancel it if I wanted to.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll go back and look at it. But anyway, cool. Brad, what do you want to get into first? Let's do, or no, Dan, you're new. What do you want to get? You're not new. You've been here plenty of times. What do you want to do first?
Well, first I'll tell you what I fucking got for Christmas.
Oh.
asshole.
I'm sorry. I thought. Well, I already knew because you and I have talked about it. So I think in my
Right.
head I was like, "Oh, right, the listeners have not heard."
Well, first question one is that special gravity thing. Is that the one where they dubbed all the sound out for the outer space?
Oh, is that in that special?
Is that what that is? I mean,
I don't
because,
know.
Like,
I know they
yeah,
were talking about that. I
like,
don't know if that's.
we could do
what's
that
on it.
and be more scientifically whatever. But I think that movie is fun because like and all the other
Right.
like when the explosion happens and then she's on the escape pod and the parachute's still tethered to the space station and it pulls it taut and then it flings it back the other way and it looks all badass and cool and it's making all this weird noise.
That's one of those cool changes that would probably be really neat in a theater. But when I'm watching it on my 32-inch TV from like 6 feet away, it's probably not as impressive, right? Like I'll probably be sitting there like, well, I get that it's quiet, but
people can say whatever they want. The theater experience and the home experience are two very different things.
yeah. Unless you have all the money, in which case,
Yeah, or you just live at an AMC, and in which case I'm very sorry.
if you are the CEO of AMC theaters or Draft House Films, then it's the same. But
Sure. So, anyways, Christmas.
yeah, what'd you get?
I just got a little bit of money. I got like a whole bunch of chocolate. Just like here's the Nestle Crunch bar. Just fucking go nuts.
Just a half-eaten Twix.
Yeah, just call out of work one
One
day
of
and
the
finish
two.
this. And then like kind of also unofficially for Christmas, I got a really sick Star Trek zip-up hoodie.
Oh yeah,
Right.
that thing is dope.
And so it was kind of like a gift from my boss. And all they knew is, oh, Dan talks about Star Trek. Let's get him that. And so they got me an original series hoodie, and I've never seen the original series.
Uh-huh.
So maybe that'll be my excuse to go back and see it. It's still like either way, it's totally
it's
awesome.
super cool.
It's
Yeah,
really
no,
cool.
neat.
So yeah, I don't know.
Do they make next gen hoodies? Have you looked?
Yeah,
at
totally.
Oh.
It came from Think Geek.
Think
Yeah.
Geek.
So you can get like you might even be able to get like the DS9. Or, I don't
Yeah.
know, but yeah, like if I were to go like buy one now, I would totally get a next generation one.
So you're saying you didn't like that gift very much? Do you want me to tell
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Kyle that he got you?
Tell Kyle to fuck off.
God damn it! No. Cool.
All right.
Cool.
Sweet.
What do we want to do, Dan? Where are we
Well, remind me of the segment so you can like listen to fan
like
mail. You can
DVDs.
listen like some news. Here's all the releases.
We don't have any fan mail.
Here's when
so-
James talks about an anime for 5 minutes and nobody gives a fuck. No.
No, Brad talks about the anime for 5 minutes.
Oh. Do you want to get the anime out of the way, Brad?
Screw you. I don't have any anime to talk about.
You didn't see Big Eyes this week?
Shaking my head at
God
home.
damn it. Sorry.
No, we actually do have some fan mail.
Do we?
But it's about the interview, so should I save it?
Sure. We'll
Okay.
do it at the beginning of the review.
Yeah.
Cool. Where was it?
It's a personal message.
Oh, okay, cool. What? You want to do the DVDs and Blu-ray releases?
Yeah, do the releases.
Okay,
All
cool. You're pointing at my niece points at everything that way, and instead of using her words, she just points, and you go, "What is it? Truck." Yep. Yes, it is.
Well, we only have 2 mics.
I know. I'm sorry. This is not my fault. Do you want me to glare at the person whose fault this is? Actually, I'm not glaring at anyone. I wasn't glaring at anybody. I was just anyway. All right, let's do DVD and Blu-ray releases. DVD releases and Blu-rays. That's totally a misnomer because we only talk about the Blu-ray releases. The Equalizer comes out this week, which is that Denzel Washington movie that I don't think any of us saw. Dan, you didn't see it.
No, there was talk of my family watching it over Christmas, and we ended up watching a bunch of other stuff that I guess we'll get to in a bit.
Okay, cool. So that might be where I don't know. I'll see an action movie, like whatever. We're gonna go see Taken 3, so I guess I have time for Denzel Washington equalizing people. I'm a big fan of The Eraser, and that also starts with an E, so maybe they're very similar. I don't know.
Is The Eraser and Eraser 2 different films?
No, The Erased with Aaron Eckhart is a very different movie than Arnold Schwarzenegger's Eraser.
Okay.
Eraser is a classic of 90s cinema. Among the best of all of Arnold Schwarzenegger's movies.
So even better than Terminator 2?
No, I said among
Among.
the top 30 Arnold Schwarzenegger movies
Wow, okay.
is Eraser. Tusk also comes out this week. So if you didn't get a chance to see a man in a walrus suit.
Yeah. What's up with the lame new packaging?
Yeah, it's not good.
Whoever
It's a
designed
really
that
bad poster.
Did a not great job.
Yeah.
It's
I don't
really
know.
literal.
Yeah, and it's just not. I don't. It gets at a lot of the stuff I don't like about Tusk, which is like the third act, right? Like I really like the part where they're both sitting at a table talking to each other, and I don't really like the part where he's in a walrus suit. So honestly, it makes me not want to buy it just on its face, which is too bad. Banshee Season 2, which is a TV show, I think, on Showtime. I can't remember. Season 4 of Shameless comes out this week. Season 12 of Red vs. Blue. Dan, did you know they're still doing Red vs. Blue?
No, I had no idea.
I thought they canceled it a long time ago.
That's Rooster Teeth, right?
Yeah.
I thought all they were doing now was like achievement guides and like
Do they do
here's
that?
yeah, they're like, oh, here's how you get this trophy and like fucking Wolfenstein, whatever. You go and look at this guy, and here's the weird thing, and you get the trophy. Good job.
Huh.
I thought that's all they did now, and well, that and also like here's the 10 dumbest grenade kills in Halo this week. Like
Right.
a lot of that stuff. Which I mean, if you're really into Halo, then okay, but I didn't know they were still doing this Red versus Blue stuff.
There's a movie called Elsa and Fred, one called Reach Me, which looks like it has Stallone in it. Honestly, it's a bunch of stuff, like little straight-to-DVD movies that I've never heard of. There's an old movie with Martin Mull called Mr. White, hitting Blu-ray this week. That's good. Tromeo and Juliet. Actually, it looks like there's a shit ton of Troma movies coming out this week. Toxic Avenger Part 3, Citizen Toxie.
What the hell's a Tromo?
Brad, why don't you explain here? Yeah, have a.
I think back in the 70s, Lloyd Kaufman started a independent film studio called Troma.
Mother's Day comes out this week.
Okay.
I
Does
don't know if
Ryan
that's
have
in
that already?
any. I don't know if that's. I think so.
We
Yes.
talked about that a few weeks ago.
In no relation to Father's Day. That's the only reason I brought it up.
Right.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Same
Go ahead.
studio, no relation.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they just make really terrible, schlocky, hardcore violence, gratuitous nudity, gore, language, just filthy, degrading,
It's kind
poor
of
special effects, poor writing, just
and
but yet
with like
delightful.
an intentional bent to it. Like they know it's horrible and they're trying to make it worse rather than trying to make it better.
right.
Yeah. Honestly, I almost said I'd have to make you watch Father's Day, and then I thought maybe not. I like maybe 20% of Father's Day, maybe 30, which I feel like is pretty good considering that I don't think that Troma's for me. But once you see one, you understand. All of a sudden, you're like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, this is what this is supposed to be.
And sometimes they don't make them; they just release other people's films that
Movies
haven't made
as Troma.
Cannibal the Musical.
Yeah,
Is it? I don't know if you've seen that one.
it's the Trey Parker, Matt Stone.
Toxic Avengers, like their most
classic.
well-known one. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. But that's like it for this week. Again, end of the year. This is not when you release a Blu-ray.
Yeah, I was looking ahead. Like, I don't think there's anything till March that I really care about on those release lists for
Good.
Blu-rays.
That
so
means I
it's,
can
it's
catch
a
up.
quite a dry spell.
Yeah. Awesome. Dan, what do we want to do next?
News.
News. Okay.
It's real news.
But Dan, have you ever watched Entourage?
No,
Because the trailer for Entourage came out this week.
the trailer for
the movie Entourage.
Oh.
They're making a movie sequel.
I thought you were talking about like whatever the next season or episode is or whatever.
Yeah, no. It's the show's been off the air for a while, but they're making a movie sequel to it. It honestly just looks like a bag of douchebags, like a whole bag full of douchebags.
Yeah,
like
all right.
I don't get it. I didn't laugh at the trailer. I don't. And I watched probably half of a season of Entourage, and sort of just fell off because I don't see the attraction. I've heard it explained as being Sex in the City for dudes, and if that's true, then I don't like Sex in the City either.
Yeah,
Sex in the
don't
City,
know.
I can't even get through the opening the opening music, so that's too bad, I guess. But anyway, that came out this week. Not the most exciting trailer that we've seen in the last 3 weeks. Is oh my god, that Mad Max trailer! Did we talk about that on the show?
I think so.
Oh man, I've seen it 3 times.
I don't know about
at
the new
Alamo
one.
now.
I know we talked about the San Diego Comic-Con one,
Oh no, yeah, the one from
which I actually thought was better than the one they got.
Oh really?
Right now, yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
'Cause it has the it doesn't have the what is it, the Fly of the Valkyries or whatever.
Right.
It has its own beat to it, and all the edits are cut to that music. Whereas this one just is just it seems like in the trailer you see every action sequence in the movie going on at the same time.
It's I agree. Yeah.
I'm a little worried about walking in there and just being like, oh great, 2 hours.
Here's
of just
that trailer
drama.
longer. Yeah.
Because I've seen the Road Warrior and Mad Max, and they're a lot more dramatic than
Agreed.
actiony.
Agreed. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Mad Max is very different, I feel like, than the rest of them. My mom's never seen any of them, and so I was talking with my dad recently that we've got to get her to watch them, and there's a part of me that thinks that we should just start at the Road Warrior. Which, I mean, that was the movie that most people saw for the first time anyway, right?
Right.
It's why it's got a different title. I don't think Mad Max was actually wide released in America, where the Road Warrior sort of was. And it just tonally is a very different, right? There aren't long dramatic rape sequences in the rest of those movies the way there are in Mad Max. As I remember, it's been a while, but I
don't remember that, but I just remember there wasn't all the crazy, the production design wasn't even that elaborate. It was just a guy in a leather jacket
and a cop car,
a
driving around,
just driving around,
people.
just beating up regular guys.
Yeah,
and he's trying to save his family.
Yeah,
but
Road Warrior it's more like a traditional revenge film.
Yeah, the Road Warrior has masked event villains
dudes in assless chaps and just crazy spiky shit and
tons of dust and desert.
Yeah. Which that's what you want.
I think Mad Max doesn't really take place. It's just in some decrepit town and then a field. That's all I remember.
Yeah, Mad Max does not feel like a post-apocalyptic movie.
Right.
Whereas,
and then Thunderdome, I came and finished watching.
I can't remember the last time I watched it. I gotta buy the whole set on Blu-ray and watch through them again because Thunderdome, of course I remember all of the, Who Rules Bartertown, Master, all of that stuff that's iconic.
Yeah.
But I hardly
I fall asleep
remember
every time.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, weird.
5-10 minutes in.
Yeah. Well, there's a reason why it took them 20 years to make another one.
Yeah.
Because that did kind of kill it. But anyway, that trailer's awesome. Any of the trailers, we'll talk about that next week.
Entourage trailer, not exciting.
Not an Entourage trailer,
totally exciting.
Don't give a shit. Ash and Evil Dead, the Starz TV show that they have been making. There was just an interview this week where they were talking about some of what the story of that show is, and basically there's going to be 2 other main characters that Ash is, alongside of, and he's, living in a trailer park, and the Evil Dead come back, and he and some of his friends from the big box store he's working at that time have to go and fight the Evil Dead. I don't know. And I honestly, this is one I'm going to have to see to believe to some degree, because when you talk about what this is, it sounds hard to take. Does that make sense?
Sure.
I'm interested, but I just don't know that it's going to be that cool. But anyway,
we'll see.
We'll see. Hit Somebody is going to film next fall, says Kevin Smith.
Sure,
which
whatever.
Sounds good. That's
we'll see.
It's the Kevin Smith thing that I've been actually the most excited for him to make. Yeah. I sound really interested in Hit Somebody, or Hit Somebody sounds really interested to me. But I just felt like it was backburnered forever, so that excites me. And then the other big thing was that Roberto Orci stepped off of Star Trek 3 a while back, and this week he not only announced that he is not writing it anymore, but that Justin Lin has come on to direct it, which means that I'm very afraid of Star Trek 3 right now.
Yeah, me too. Especially since there's that comment that Paramount wants Star Trek 3 to be more like Guardians of the Galaxy. So I'm like, wow, you're moving even further away from what Star Trek is supposed to be.
Yeah, like the way they set up the end of Star Trek 3 was the perfect way to launch a good Star Trek movie. Now they're on the 5-year mission. We talked about this after Into Darkness, right? They're on the 5-year mission. You can just tell a story where they go discover something, and there's even room here for something crazy like the Borg or something like that we've never seen before. I mean, we've seen the Borg and we've seen him in a movie, but to see the original cast versus the Borg would kind of be interesting. You know, like I said this back at the time, I don't love that because I feel like I'd like to see a new story rather than like, oh, here's all the mainstay big villains that you like to hear about. But even that, to me, sounds more interesting than a Justin Lin movie that's written by some guys who, like right now, the only people we know are working on this movie are guys who've never actually written a produced movie before.
Yeah, I was like, at first I was adverse to the idea, and I was like, well, I'll see what Justin Lin's resume looks like, and maybe he's got other stuff on there that
Right.
I don't know about that would give clarity as to why they chose him. And it's all Fast and Furious movies, so
Right.
he has no diversity in his. It's exactly what
And
Paramount wants is a action-y Star Trek movie.
I really like his Fast and Furious movies. I don't want a Fast and Furious movie in space. Like, not even close. Like, the Fast and Furious is the opposite of where I wanted Star Trek to go.
Star Trek 3, Space Chase.
Yeah, like, I wanted a 2-hour-long movie about people who are black on one side of their face and white on the other side of their face. Or, like go tell me an interesting, more emotional, more, like, ethical questions kind of Star Trek story.
Take a hot-button issue from today
Yeah.
and make some kind of narrative about it.
Right. Tell me a story.
That isn't obvious.
Don't just tape together some action sequences. Sorry, so it stopped recording there for a second, but I mean, yeah, I don't know that I trust that this one's going to be as good, and what I really want from them is like a space mystery, or just something a lot more subtle and an interesting story that they haven't told before, and I don't think that's what we're going to get now. So anyway, that's depressing. But less depressing was that, and this was already spoiled for you because, well, I told you that we're going to review the interview this week. So Sony decided to release the interview anyway on Christmas Day, and the Alamo Drafthouse here in Denver showed it. So that was cool. There were a shit ton of cops there, and nothing blew up. They had like a special beer that they crafted just for this showing, but
forget what it was called.
Yeah, I don't know. Kim Jong Un sucks dick.
Oh, sorry, dude.
Sorry, dude. Yeah. That's right.
I was really nervous the whole time because I had my camera bag with me, so
Did
I
you?
thought I was going to get searched.
Oh,
And the cops had that dog, so
yeah.
I
It's a
thought
cool
it
looking
was.
dog.
Huh?
It was a cool looking dog.
Yeah.
I wanted to pet it, but then they would be like, "No,
Get on the ground.
don't be nice to dogs.
Yeah.
This is a drug dog.
We've trained this dog to be a bastard. Don't make friends with him.
This dog only bites dicks."
Yeah.
So yeah, that was cool. I mean, good job them. We talked about this last week, but
And we'll talk about it more later in the show.
probably. Yep. Cool. Dan, what are we doing?
Hey, do we need to run through box office again?
This is the box office stats.
Yeah.
It was Lord of the Rings.
It was Lord of the Rings.
It was, what was number 2?
It was The Night at the Museum.
It was the museum.
The Curse of the Secret of the Tomb.
The Curse of Ben Stiller can't get good work.
Can't or shouldn't?
It's probably both. I like Ben Stiller. Whatever.
He's all right. Yeah.
Number 3 was Annie.
Number 3 was Annie.
And then where was Exodus?
Exodus was 4.
Okay, well, shit. There you go. 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's all that matters.
1, 2, 3, 4. Yep.
Like
Hobbit was
they'll
like
rank top 10 or
54.7,
like
something like
some
that.
other. And then number 9 or number 11 was KP.
Number 9 was PKP or PK, which
PK.
I have no idea what that is.
And we yeah,
So
or Philip K. Fry.
right.
Yeah.
But anyway,
So
and
there
you
go.
should see those because you've never seen the Hobbit movies, right?
PK.
No, the Hobbit movies.
Yeah, no, I had not, but you own 1 and 2. You will eventually own 3.
Yes.
So I will watch those films
Yeah.
at some point.
You should check them out.
Yeah.
You should check them out.
Maybe
for sure.
take like 6 months to go through them.
No.
Just like watch 15 minutes a week.
No, don't do that.
No.
No. Because any 15 minutes of that movie, probably not that interesting.
What if it's the 15 minutes with the barrels and the waterfall, though?
There's more than 15 minutes of that.
Okay.
No, actually, no, that's
Only
probably
Peter
not true.
Jackson could do that.
Yeah, that's actually the whole second movie. That movie starts with them in barrels, and then 2 hours later they get out of the barrels and fight a dragon.
Sure.
And that's all of the second movie.
All right.
So yeah.
Cool.
So check that shit out. Cool. What we've been watching?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Let's do that.
So, yeah, this is the stuff we've been watching.
Dan, you haven't been here for a while. What have you been watching?
Some films. And some
Okay.
other stuff. So just up at Christmas, went up and saw the family, and we watched. We just kind of watch some movies over Christmas, like Elf and Christmas Vacation, just kind of the ones we watch every year. Those are
Right.
always like, even if I watch them every year, I still really like watching them.
Oh,
I
hell
still
yeah.
laugh at all the same things in Elf every single time.
Yeah.
Um,
I've seen it. So I've seen Christmas Vacation so many times that even the joke at the beginning where her eyes get frozen shut, even that's kind of funny to me now. Which
Yeah.
has been an achingly bad joke for my entire life. I've never thought it was funny, and then just the last couple of years, I've been like, bah, that's so fucking stupid.
that movie is like really like.
It's good.
It's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we somehow fit in both Home Alone 1 and 2.
Okay.
Real
Did you
talk.
watch them at the same time?
No.
That would
No.
be cool.
And again, like I've seen them 100 times growing
Right.
up, but
Yeah.
real talk, I think Home Alone 2 is better than 1.
Agreed.
Okay.
Worried.
I was worried.
Emotionally, I think
like-
the second one is a lot better.
I just think all around, like one is really, really fun.
Yeah.
2 is way better.
Yeah.
We
Whole story with the doves and
yes.
the homeless woman. Like, yeah, no, that's a cool movie. I really like that movie.
We fit in Dumb and Dumber at one point, and I've kind of
Okay.
forgot how that movie is funny, but kind of not good. I had
Yeah.
not seen Dumb and Dumber in maybe like 15 years.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And so
if it's
I-
been that long, then you'll forget that movie is not actually amazing.
Yeah, like it's funny, but it's not like I thought that was the best movie I'd ever seen when I was that age.
Yeah.
And no, I
See, I don't think
must have
I'd-
been way off.
I don't think I saw it when everybody else saw it. Like, I didn't see it until I was probably like 15 or 16.
Yeah,
Whereas when I was a kid, everybody had seen Dumb and Dumber.
I think
but-
it came out in 93-4.
Yeah.
Brad gave me a 4 from
when I
across
was
the table.
when I was 7, I was not going to see Dumb and Dumber movies.
Sure, yeah,
Because my mom would have seen that trailer and been like, "That seems stupid. Why don't we watch Guys and Dolls?" And I would have agreed with her. And I probably still agree with her. So
yeah, like it's funny, but it had been too long. So
Yeah.
and then we also fit in Groundhog Day.
maybe if we juxtapose those two things, maybe that means that if you and I went 15 years without watching Christmas Vacation and came back to it, we'd go, you know what? This movie's not good.
I don't. Well, okay.
I'm not saying that I agree with that idea. I just think it's funny that we talked about like watching a movie every year and how it gets actually kind of funnier and stays fresh. And then if you go a long time with a dumb movie like that,
Yeah.
that all of a sudden you go back and go, how about no?
Okay.
Just
Yeah.
interesting.
We also watched Groundhog Day. That movie's fantastic.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Like if somebody out there who's listening has never seen Groundhog Day, like you really just need to go watch it. It's just fucking good.
Yeah.
And then the ones that we can actually talk about here are, oh my god, my phone went to sleep. What is it? Okay. I watched Frozen, but I didn't actually watch a lot of it because I was also babysitting a 6-year-old and a 3-year-old while it was happening.
Oh,
So-
by babysitting you meant you showed them Frozen.
Well, no, it was like Uncle Dan come watch Frozen with us. I was like, fucking hell yeah! Everyone's talking about Frozen and whatever that one song is, and so I sat and like, of course, 15 minutes into it, all they're doing is like saying every word along with it, and then the one song comes on, and I can't hear a damn word of it, and I'm like, fucking.
So you just smash their heads
yeah, so
against
just-
each other so they fall asleep, and yeah.
And
I gotta watch this fucking Disney movie.
I actually don't think, like, after about 10 or 15 minutes in, I don't think I heard a single word of the
Oh,
rest
no.
of the movie.
You should have just watched them performing it as if like
Yeah.
they were the characters. It was like a play.
I do have to say that the snow looked really good.
Yes.
Like when somebody is like somebody would get pushed and it would fall into it,
Uh-huh.
and it looks
Like snow.
really good. Like
It's almost Uncharted 2 good.
I I mean, like, it looks really fucking good.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit.
That movie's gorgeous.
Like those movie people are really talented, and like whoever they are and wherever they are,
Their
like, oh my
jobs
god,
for a reason.
like it like fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Like, look, it's really rad. And then also I got to finally hear the song that apparently every parent hates
Uh-huh.
because all the kids do is sing it all day long.
That movie's good. It's good.
I at some point should probably maybe
Yeah,
sit
sit down and watch it.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
maybe
worth you. Yeah, I mean, yeah. You should also see The Hobbit. But Frozen's good too.
and Star Trek too.
And Star Trek Into Darkness, which, the fact that you haven't seen that is crazy.
I've been watching a lot of It's Always Sunny, Philadelphia.
Yep. That new season?
Well, no, because like
All-
like when I went like blasted through it the first time, it was like 6 or 7 seasons on Netflix,
Yeah.
and now like like a year or so later, like they have 2 more, and so I actually watched the whole run just over the last few months, and now I'm going through the stuff. That show is just like, it's stupid, but it's really smart in how stupid it is.
Mm-hmm. To the point at which the episode where the Dave and Buster's episode, that when it first aired, I really hated, is brilliant.
Oh, and they're talking about like, oh, but you have your power card,
Right.
And
Well,
all-
because
yeah.
they fucked it up when they aired it. They really fucked it up because they went too far, and so they put, during the commercial breaks, they put commercials for all the product placement that's in that episode, and so it felt like they'd lost control. Instead of it being where the commercials were actually a funny part of the show, it felt like the commercials were why the show was doing what it was doing. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Whereas when you watch it now, you're like, oh, this is a really great episode. Like, this is really funny, and the subtle product placement jokes are really good. But when you watched it on live TV, you thought that they had sold out.
Okay.
And it sucked. Like, I remember sitting there with my roommate Ryan at the time and just going like, what are they doing? But yeah, that show's great.
It's
I've genuinely probably seen every episode 24 times. I'm not even kidding, because I watch it while I go to sleep, and so I'll just turn on any random episode, and I've gone through the whole season at least 24 times.
the just like the way Danny DeVito just screams every word that he says, and just horror every single time.
Over pronouncing that H.
Yeah. God, like it's just really smart. I finished up all the 4th season of Game of Thrones. That's really rad. I'm all caught up on that now, so yay.
Is that the one that ends with the wedding?
No.
Is that season 3 that ends with the wedding?
Which wedding? There's several weddings.
The really bad wedding?
Well, there's more than one of those also.
The red wedding?
That's season 3.
Okay, so you've now seen more than I have.
So now I've seen more than you have.
Okay, because I only saw through to that, and I thought, these characters should have known better. And then when the next season came around,
So I don't really like. So at one point there's a guy who gets his skull crushed by somebody else's hands.
Okay.
He just shoves his fingers into the guy's eye sockets and just
Blade Runner
rips his skull apart. And it was one of those things where I was like, oh god, and I had to look away. But also I'm looking at it going like, this, like, how much did this fucking cost to make? This looks so good. Like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like that show must be super expensive.
Well, I don't know.
Because
there's
like
a
if,
lot of production value there, but at the same time, that show is a lot like Deadwood, where once they've built a lot of the sets and have bought a lot of the stuff they need, so the show is front loaded with production expenses. Once they've built like the CG elements that they need, the show gets cheaper as each season goes by. So that's why they had renewed that show for a second season before they even started the first one.
Sure, okay, except that like.
But you're right. Yes, it takes it's an expensive show.
When this dude's skull is just like,
you understand, it's not that like that man. They didn't pay that man to let them crush his skull, right? Like, it's just a plastic skull.
It looked
really good.
It looked really real.
Yeah.
And also really gross, and also really good.
Maybe they went and got a cadaver and crushed.
I mean, like
skull.
if you in my head, if you gave me all the money, I could not make it look that good. So
Well, you're not a professional skull crusher,
this is true.
whereas I know
Skull,
exactly how to do it.
Skull Crusher.
Uh-huh.
That's you.
Yeah, Skull Crusher 420 is my Xbox name.
At hotmail.com.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all I got. I also watched the interview, but we'll get to that later.
Oh, cool.
So-
Yeah. Brad?
Oh, so Big Eyes, Tim Burton's latest foray into non-CGI explosions of creative fare. It's about a real-life event, real-life story of...
It's a football team in Texas. Big Eyes, Strong Hearts.
If you keep doing this, we're going to be here all night.
It's a Friday Night Lights reference. Thank you.
Margaret Keane, Margaret Ulbrich. It's got Amy Adams and Christoph Waltz in the leads. They play this husband and wife duo. The wife paints these famous paintings with children based on her own child, but she gives them all gigantic, like, anime eyes. It's a sensation, but because it's the 50s...
Wait, so this movie's not animated?
No.
Oh, shit.
Do you know what this movie is?
Nope,
at all?
just saw posters.
Yeah, I saw a commercial for it.
Yeah?
And it was like they counterfeit something.
They don't counterfeit
Or something.
They
No.
just misrepresent what her art. Because, Mr. Keene is a painter. She's a painter. He basically paints like doctor's office, landscape stuff. He says he went to Paris, bummed around the city a bunch. That's where he got his inspiration for most of his paintings. She is more creative. More surreal. Makes these big-eyed characters. They start trying to get them into galleries, but no one will take them because they're all like, well, yours is just generic landscape art, and hers is like weird bug-eyed kid shit. No one wants to see that on their walls, but they put them into nightclubs, and all these partiers are like, oh, that's cool. And then the husband is a really good salesman, so he basically starts telling him, because no one will take a female painter seriously, so he's like, well, I painted them. And then he goes home like, well, we're husband and wife, so we're both getting the money anyway, so let's make some money. Who cares? But this goes on for years and years. The paintings become more and more of a sensation. And so Mrs. Keene feels marginalized. She feels like she should be getting the credit as well as the money. And then Mr. Keene you find out that Mr. Keene's even more of a fraud in some ways. And he starts to just go off the deep end, fully believing that he's painted these himself. And then it climaxes in this like courtroom drama that's actually kind of hilarious when they're trying to prove who's trying to prove to the world like who is the author of these paintings, and when it's clearly like the annoying thing is you're sitting there going like, just have them do a paint off.
Yeah.
It'll
100%.
clear this up easily, but no, they have this like long drawn out thing where Christoph Waltz is being hilarious, acting like Perry Mason, like he becomes his own counsel, so he's just acting like what he saw on TV. But that's about it. I mean, it's nice to see Tim Burton do something that's not completely fanciful. It's more in the vein of just like straight up like Ed Wood, but it's not as strong as that. It's more straightforward. It's like, yeah, here's these two characters, and this is what happened. At one point, Margaret is like shopping, and she starts to see people in the store who have big eyes. Like that's the only CGI in the movie really that I saw. But obviously it's not. What I'm saying is it's not like this crazy adventure like Alice in Wonderland thing. It's more of like a real drama type thing. But yeah, it's pretty entertaining. And then I also saw The Imitation Game, which is Benedict Cumberbatch playing Alan Turing's life story. He's the guy who is considered the creator of the computer, modern computer PC.
Mm-hmm.
They were called Turing machines at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like a text at the end of the movie, like the epilogue. Really good movie. The audience clapped at the end.
Cool.
They loved it so much. I was more interested in like them trying to solve the problem of decoding the German messages.
Right.
So he's tasked with Alan Turing is recruited by the British military to find a way to decode messages coming out of a German machine called the Enigma machine.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a machine that just created a code that every 24 hours it would change over. So even if you figure out what the code was, 24 hours later it would be a different system.
Right.
So you'd have to start over. And Alan Turing just decided like it would take over 199,000 years to get through the first cycle. So no amount of manpower is going to do it.
Right.
Like mathematically, like based on. So he's like, we need to create a machine that can learn how the other machine works. So there's a great deal of time spent showing him trying to convince everyone to go along with this elaborate machine that no one understands how it's going to even produce a solution. And they don't really show you the details of how it even works. You just see like these rotating discs with like little letters on them.
Mm-hmm.
And the rest of the movie deals with, yes. Dan's showing me a picture of the movie. I confirmed that is correct. So it's half figure out how to break the Enigma machine, and then it also kind of deals with Alan Turing being homosexual.
What?
I know. You turned off already?
No, I knew.
No, it's obviously essential to his life because the movie starts out with this break-in, and you don't know why someone broke into his house, and this detective is trying to... Everyone else is like, well, whatever, it's just a break-in, nothing got stolen, but this detective's like, well, something seems fishy here. So he goes off on his own personal crusade to figure out what it is, and then other cops get ahead of him and find out it was related to, like, his lover, but he doesn't want to believe it's that. And at the time, being a homosexual in London was, like, punishable by death even.
Mm-hmm.
So that secret isn't supposed to get out.
Right.
And then while the movie's going on, you're also learning about the backstory of when he was a kid and getting picked on in school, and his only friend was this other boy. And so his time with that boy kind of furthered his feelings for men.
Right.
And so that becomes a problem. And then, but yeah, the weird thing was, like, after most of the movie deals with the machine, the first thing that comes up in the epilogue is about, like, Alan Turing committed suicide because he was taking these hormone injections to cure his homosexuality. It's like, I didn't feel like that was the focus of the movie. It was just like a supporting part of it. But it felt like by putting it at the end, it was like, oh, this is what we were trying to focus on. Like, nah, I don't feel like that should have been it.
Yeah.
But yeah, the rest of the movie with the machine is like, they're trying to get him to solve it faster because all these other British soldiers are dying. One of the really cool parts is when they finally do crack it, and within 5 minutes they know what the next German assault is going to be. And then, so they got this map on the back wall, and they're about to call the British Army to let them know, like, you need to prepare for this. And then Turing steps in and says, like, you can't tell them, because if we succeed in thwarting that battle, then the Germans are going to know we've cracked it. And if they know we've cracked it, then we have to start over. So, and we'd have to build a whole new machine, which is not possible.
Huh.
So they have to go ahead and, like, let those people die. And then one of the people in the room has, like, a brother on that ship, and he's like, my brother's going to die. I can't let this happen. So they have to, like, fight him not to.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's
intense.
cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then, yeah, so the rest of the movie, they talk about, like, yeah, this was like a secret for 50 years. And, and then the MI6 comes in and recruits Turing to, like, okay, you've got it cracked, and now we have to keep it a secret.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to assemble another team that has to plan statistically plausible scenarios for us to win the war based on what we know.
Like, they have to choose what information to act on
and what not
to make it seem like they don't know. That's cool.
Yeah, that's messed up.
Oh, man.
So,
wow.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Good. That sounds really good.
So you should see that.
Cool. Very cool.
I watched so many Jean-Claude Van Damme movies this week.
Oh, my God.
So many. So many being 7.
Okay. Time Cop?
No, that's way in the past.
Universal Soldier.
That was last week.
Okay. Do you want me to keep guessing?
No.
Okay, go ahead.
I've got the list right here. And this is pretty much a list of a lot of the latter, more recent straight-to-DVD things.
Oh.
So,
is that a statement about their quality as well, or just...
Yes.
Okay.
A little bit. I went to Tradesmart trying to get Desert Heat.
Okay.
And apparently,
is that the one from this year?
No. From this year.
Yeah, wasn't there one from like this anyway. When's Desert Heat from?
Like 2002 or something, I think.
Right, sure.
So I went to Tradesmart trying to get it because I saw it there a couple weeks ago and passed on it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I burned through a bunch of other ones. I was like, oh, I'm going to go pick it up. And apparently someone else in town was looking for it.
There's another human being in Denver.
Because it's already gone. But I found 6 other movies.
Okay.
And one of them was, let's do Legionnaire first, because I think that was probably the best one of
do they run together in your head when you watch that many movies?
Well,
that
especially
are all,
these 6,
right?
Because they're all the straight to DVD. Yeah,
and
they all have
half
similar
of them
plots
have sounded
and,
like that they're the same movie. So I have to imagine that.
I talked about In Hell and Wake of Death last week, right?
I have no idea. They run together in my head too, and I didn't watch them.
I rewatched Death Warrant this week. I didn't put it on the list, but I rewatched it too, and I was just like, God, like if I make another Jean-Claude movie, like, so many of his movies take place in prison, or he's like avenging the death of his wife.
Yeah.
So like the sequel will be like that premise.
Yeah.
But anyway, Legionnaire is actually not similar. Most similar to The Quest, but
his wife gets killed during a conjugal visit, and so he has to break out of. He's got to kill somebody in the jail. So it's a wife's dead revenge quest in prison.
Sure.
I'm just
Legionnaire. No.
I'm just saying this is what the next movie
That's
is.
what you're thinking up.
Yep.
So Legionnaire. Jean-Claude is a boxer, who makes a bet, and then some mobster says, "Hey, take a dive, and we'll make more money." And then he decides he doesn't want in the ring during the fight. He just decides he doesn't want to take the dive, so he bails on the plan, makes a ton of money off of winning, and then tries to hitch a ride out of town. The mobster doesn't like that, chases him down, kills his friend. Jean-Claude manages to escape, leaves the girl he's seeing at the train, and he goes off and joins the French Foreign Legion. With the expectation that maybe he can wait it out, but there's a multi-paragraph intro to the movie that says like
Star Wars style, where it's
it's just not at an angle,
right? No, yeah, of course,
yeah, explaining how the French Foreign Legion was not so much a bunch of servicemen; it was an assemblage of thieves and unsavory people, murderers, stuff like that.
Fair,
yeah. So, and then from then on, he's just like, getting his ass kicked in the Legion, befriending a couple guys. It's almost like prison again, where
yeah,
he's the odd man out, and then someone else is about to get shivved, but he steps in and saves them. They become friends, and then slowly becomes friends with more and more of the Legion. And then they decide to take a trek across the desert to go to this one abandoned fortress, to set up a new outpost. And meanwhile, there's like these the natives on horseback. Right away, they tell you like, yeah, you join the Legion, but good luck surviving anything because these guys are baddest motherfuckers, and if you can take down one of them, you'll be the baddest legionnaire ever. So they're outnumbered, out talented as far as fighting and stuff, and yeah, they get wiped out.
Is this movie set in like modern day?
No, it's like the 20s.
Oh,
or
okay, all right,
1910s, 30s, something like that. Yeah, I don't remember exactly, but it was back around that time.
The term legionnaire, I just feel like he's dressed in like Roman soldier outfits or something.
No, he's like
for some reason
he's
legionnaire
like desert fatigues,
or it makes me think of Legion, that movie with the
the archangel,
the archangels. Yeah.
God, that sucked. He's so brain dead. So yeah, that was actually pretty good.
But it's all downhill from there.
But like, not much happens. Like,
yeah,
he just kind of goes through the motions.
Does he ever kick anybody?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, kicks a few people.
All right, good.
But not as much. I mean, it's more guns. There's not a lot of opportunities for him
For
to
kicking.
like go
They're all
fit
too
hand
far
to
away.
hand. I mean,
Yeah.
the enemy has like machetes and horseback, and they even have cannons. They
Dude,
blow up most of the
he
outposts.
he could kick a guy with a machete.
He pretty much kicks a scimitar through that guy's chest and explodes too.
Fuck yeah. Oh, yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Oh, see? Yes.
Good stuff. So Legionnaire.
Expendables 2.
Let's see, what would be the second best of this list? No, the last ones are all in the same boat. Oh, Legionnaire, cool thing. So at Tradesmart, they had 3 copies, right?
Okay.
And one had a different looking cover, and the other 2 had the same. And those 2 on the back it said full screen,
Okay.
and the one that had the different looking cover didn't mention whether it was either or.
Mm-hmm.
But it said it was from Canada, so I assume that the Canadians probably had the widescreen version,
Sure.
and they did.
Oh, good.
So I got the right one.
Why is Canadian so much? Why would they be more widescreen than
I think like foreign DVDs,
Oh,
they just straight up put out
the theatrical? Yeah.
the as is,
Yeah.
and then the Americans are like, oh, at the time, because I think Legionnaire came out in '98 or something,
Yeah.
and the DVD probably came out in
That's back when those
2000.
fucking old ladies would come through the Blockbuster and be like, but I don't have a widescreen TV. I don't care. That's not how this works.
Yeah.
Just watch the fucking movie.
As the director intended.
Yeah.
Framing.
When I tell you you're losing 42%, does that make sense to you? I don't have a what? God damn it. Oh, they were the worst. And I'm using my old lady voice. Like the woman who was really horrible about it was like 40, not old. Should have known better. Just a horrible human being yelling at me because I chose what Blockbuster sell. Oh my god. Anyway, what else did you watch?
Okay, yeah, we got 6 others to get through.
Well, I got to break this shit up.
Yeah, I watched Universal Soldier. Oh, did I? Universal Soldier: The Return. I didn't write that on. Oh, great.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. Did I totally forget to do
Universal Soldier.
Universal Soldier: The Return?
I know you talked about Universal Soldier. I can't remember if you
Yeah,
talked
that
about
was
The Return.
last week. But I watched.
Yes.
But Universal Soldier was on a disc with the hardcore, Second in Command, and Knockoff, which I already did. So there's 3 more movies I got.
Oh my god.
So let's do Universal Soldier: The Return, which is number 2, and
Okay.
then Regeneration, which is number 3. Number 2 is ridiculously bad.
Okay.
Like it's like a Sci-Fi Channel movie. It's got that wrestler Goldberg in it as a soldier.
Yeah.
Remember?
Right. Yeah. Back when he was trying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like he is a cartoon character in a different movie. Like Jean-Claude's carrying over from the sort of serious movie that he was in.
Right.
And then Michael Jai White, who's Black Dynamite.
Yeah. Right.
He's the main villain. But
Well,
Goldberg,
that's cool.
like every time he's in a fight scene, he ends it with like some supposed to be funny but not funny catchphrase type thing. Almost like "I need a vacation" or
Oh, fucking Die Hard.
or "Damn you, Luke."
Damn
Devereaux,
dirty apes.
something like that. Yeah, there's like one part where he's chasing Jean-Claude, and Jean-Claude jumps off the roof of a building and then into like a trash canister
Okay.
with like shredded paper.
Sure,
Actually, I think it was literally shredded paper in bags
Because he
just
was
like-
outside the shredded paper and bags factory.
Right.
Yeah.
And then it's on a truck, and so Jean-Claude rolls off, gets in the truck, starts driving the truck away, and then Goldberg tries to make the jump, and he just misses, so he just hits the ground instead of getting in the truck.
Right. But he's a Universal Soldier, so he's fine.
Yeah, he's fine.
Right.
And then Jean-Claude backs up over him.
Oh, okay.
But like
And
as
then he's
going,
like, I didn't see that coming.
all the Universal Soldiers so far have had no personality, but Goldberg is like the one who falls off the ledge and goes like, "Oh no!" And then there's a scene where they're in a hospital, and then Goldberg tracks him down, and then he's fighting the orderlies, and the orderlies are clearly other famous wrestlers that he got into the movie. So it's like Scrubs, but then like almost Guy
Right.
Fieri
Right.
looking dude who's like roided out.
Super tan.
Yeah,
Like,
not a typical orderly.
yeah.
Yeah,
They've got Farmer Tan where their mask usually is.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and it's 2 guys. It's clearly just because Goldberg needed his own fight scene.
Uh-huh.
What else? And then Michael Jai White is like this computer who puts his consciousness inside a Universal Soldier.
Oh, okay.
And they're trying to stop whatever. And then Luke Devereaux has a daughter this time, and I assume that the reporter from the first movie is the wife he's talking about that died, and is her mom. But now this movie just happens to have another reporter woman as the female lead, who's like following him around again. It's like, wow, lazy. And
so
her
they just,
cameraman
like,
gets wiped.
They wanted an excuse to recast their.
Yeah, they
female.
obviously didn't get the original girl back, but it's
Right.
like they didn't just give her a new job; they just made her another reporter.
Right.
Yeah, who happens to get stuck in this situation.
Well, they
So-
probably wrote it for that original actress, and then when they went to her, she was like, "No, I want to get paid this time," and they were like,
Yeah.
"Oh,
This could ruin my career.
sorry."
And again, yeah, it's like Sci-Fi Channel level
Yeah.
production quality
Yeah.
movie. And then Regeneration, like I popped in and just stopped paying attention, like after a few minutes, because it was. Again, there's like three. So suddenly, Luke Devereaux doesn't have a daughter anymore. Like she's just out of the picture, and he's
Also
going through
didn't wanna be in a
PTSD
sequel. Okay.
again after being like all happy-go-lucky in The Return. He's seeing a psychologist, I think,
Okay.
psychiatrist, and then there's this faction that revives the program, and they create one badass Unisol
Motherfucker.
who goes rogue.
Okay.
And so they have to send the other Unisols that they created to go stop him, and they get wiped out. And then they,
Do they
kidnap-
call them Unisols in the movie?
yeah, even the first one. Wow. Yeah.
Weird.
And then they kidnap Jean-Luc.
Picard.
Wait. They kidnap Van Damme,
Oh,
reintegrate him back into the
Jean-Luc
program.
Van Damme. Yeah.
Yeah, Luke Devereaux. Reintegrate him into the program, and then halfway through the movie, the scientist who's running the program again apparently had the corpse of Dolph Lundgren.
Oh, all right.
This whole time, who blew up.
Wait, tape them back together.
Yeah, they magically taped him back together,
Uh-huh.
revive
Super
him,
glue?
and he comes out all philosophical, like, what does it mean to be a universal soldier? Like, he's just basically running around asking questions of
But
his,
he wasn't like
his
that in the
existence.
first movie.
No, he was batshit crazy
All
in
of
the
a
first
sudden,
movie.
he's the villain from Blade Runner. Like,
Yeah.
weird.
And then so the cool part is he fights Luke Devereaux again, and in the battle, like the last part, Van Damme grabs a pipe and then stabs him in the forehead with it,
Cool.
and then grabs a shotgun and then puts the shotgun barrel through the pipe in his forehead and then blows the back of his head out.
Ah!
Yeah. And then that's so
Wouldn't the pipe have already killed him?
he was dying.
Oh,
He was
okay.
seeing his last like
Yeah, he was still
existentialist
doing
comment.
his monologue.
And then
All right.
Van Damme wasn't listening, and he just grabbed a shotgun and finished him off.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then Van Damme has to fight that one rogue Unisol, and
Yeah.
the whole movie is just one long fight scene.
Okay.
And inside this
is like The
grain
Hobbit 3.
factory, huh?
It's just like the Hobbit 3.
yeah. Except way less fun. So yeah, that's Universal Soldier. Okay. Then I watched Derailed, which is
Oh, the movie.
Die Hard on a Train.
Clive Owen and Jennifer Aniston.
No, not that one.
Not that one?
No, this one has the same name,
Okay.
different premise, I imagine.
Okay.
Van Damme is like a bodyguard for this one chick who's a thief.
Okay. Very different.
Yeah, and she's smuggling a like insanely toxic biohazard virus to somebody.
Why?
I don't remember.
Is she smuggling it in her body, like Mission Impossible 2 style?
No, just a canister.
Okay.
And then
That's more practical.
some faction is trying to steal it from her,
Okay.
and they have a history together. Like him and her, like the guy leading that, who is, I think, what was he in?
Universal Soldier.
He's typically like, well, he's not a famous name, but he's often like a
James
henchman to other guys in other movies.
Steve Buscemi.
No. So anyway, they finally get the canister. There's an accident. The canister breaks, and then everyone's infected on the train.
Uh-huh. And they all die.
And Van Damme's wife and kid are, snuck on the train, so now they're infected.
Well,
And
that's their fault. They should have bought a ticket like good American human beings.
they did. They bought a ticket. They just didn't tell
Oh, they
when
didn't
were
tell Van
coming.
Damme. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So they walked in on because the woman he's protecting, Van Damme's quiet about his job.
Oh, okay.
So his wife just shows up and like, "What? Who's this woman? Whatever,
Is it like
And then his
Taylor
daughter's there,
Swift
too.
or Miley Cyrus that he's protecting?
We're not going to get through
I'm sorry.
This-
Go ahead.
fast at all if you keep making a joke out of everything I say. The movies are jokes themselves. You don't need your
Okay,
comments.
so everybody on the train's got a disease.
So everyone has a disease, and then I really don't know what. I lost interest. I don't know what they were drawing out the rest of the time with, because they're basically just chasing Van Damme through different cars, and
Okay.
then there's this horrible helicopter explosion.
So Van Damme is just there. Like his family gets sick, and then he's like, I gotta fight
Yeah.
these bad guys, right? Like
and the
he's
bad
not
guys have his wife and daughter like quarantined in one of the cars,
okay.
and the bad guys don't know that they're related, so he's just trying to find a way to save everybody.
Oh, okay.
And then eventually they do find out,
Right.
But yeah, and then they try to like get off the train or something, and just try to stop these bad guys. And there's a helicopter that slams into the front of the tunnel,
Oh, like Mission Impossible.
but it's like it's really really bad compositing. Like
Oh, like Mission Impossible.
clearly the landscape is just green screen, and the train is a real foreground thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was pretty bad. Then there was Six Bullets, which was more of it. Jean-Claude is a side character where he again is a bodyguard or like a gun for hire.
Right.
And this MMA wrestler and his wife, their daughter gets kidnapped, so they hired Van Damme to go get her back. But they also like pick up guns and try to get her back too. So they form like this little team that tries to track down these, child kidnappers. And
Who are the other three members of the team? Because I assume if it's called Six Bullets, that there are 6 people on the team.
no, it's not about the Six Bullets. Isn't about the team. It's about like
They all use revolvers.
no, just how like. I don't think Van Damme really used much of a gun in the movie. He tries not to use guns,
Okay.
but if he has like 6 bullets, he like uses them wisely. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Again, I kind of lost interest in what was going on, but stayed through most of what I could.
Yeah.
But really, that's the premise. Daughter
Right.
gets kidnapped. Van Damme gets hired. He does things his way, mostly gunless. The couple tries to do what they can. He's an MMA guy, so he has a bunch of action scenes of his own.
That's unfortunate.
Do
Do they get the daughter back, just so I don't have to watch the movie?
Sure, I don't
Okay,
remember.
good.
Yeah.
Good. All right, good.
Then there was Dragon Eyes, which again,
Okay.
very Van Damme's on the cover of the movie with
Right.
the other main character,
Uh-huh.
and the movie is about that other guy.
Right.
Van Damme is basically a flashback.
It's kind of like that Liam Hemsworth movie that The Rock was in for 5 minutes from a couple years ago. What was that called? The Estate. No, Estate. Anyway, go ahead.
So there's this town called St. Jude.
Okay.
Yeah. There's warring gangs,
Okay.
African Americans,
Crips and Bloods.
Hispanics. Most of it takes place in this motel or this low-rent apartment complex,
Uh-huh.
which our main character, I don't remember his name, moves into.
Josh. Go ahead.
Sure, Josh, because I don't. So Josh moves into this apartment complex and gets, as soon as he shows up, one of the gangs is like, you don't belong here, So he kicks their ass, and then they get pissed off, and then he basically gets in the middle of this rival gang war, and Peter Weller's in the movie
Cool.
as this mobster
Right.
who is basically running the show. He's got the police in his pocket. He's got these 2 gangs working for him to get him money, and then this guy, Josh, kind of gets in the middle of it, and then he like gets in with Peter Weller, so he becomes like the new gang leader.
Okay.
But you find out that he's just working his way up to him. It's actually a pretty cool twist at the end. You find out that Josh has been went to prison because he accidentally killed a girl in a robbery.
Okay.
And then in prison, he meets Van Damme, who trains him to be a martial arts badass. And then he at the end of the movie, you find out that Van Damme is in prison because he was playing Peter Weller's schemes.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was collecting money, but trying to get it back into the community. So he was trying to help, but like being on their side. And then during one of the money pickups, he gets jumped by two masked guys, and then he kills one of them, and he finds out that one guy he killed was his own son.
Fucking A.
Who entered in the life of crime. So, he willingly went to jail to, because he'll never forgive himself. And he said, so Josh, he's like, once you get out of here, to repay me for all this training I've given you, if you could go clean up that town for me, I'd appreciate it. So basically that's what he did. That's why Josh went to that town, is to stop Peter Weller. And yeah, but there's like really silly shit.
So it's like Walking Tall, but without a 2x4.
I remember Walking Tall.
All right.
And there's I wish I'd been paying attention more, but there's a scene where
Do you?
Peter Weller has a meeting with Josh and then two other cops, and it's in front of a liquor store, but it's like a picnic table, like you'd see like at a outside Dairy Queen or something.
Right.
But it's in front of a liquor store.
Right.
So they have their dialogue, and then at the end of the scene, Peter Weller says, "So we're gonna eat or what?" Like, at the liquor store diner. What just happened? Should I go back and rewatch that? No, I'm gonna just keep watching the rest of the movie. So that was Dragon Eyes.
Man.
The Shepherd, Van Damme, becomes a border patroller.
Oh, shit, I was really hoping he became a shepherd.
He takes his bunny and moves to,
What?
I think, the Mexican border.
Literal bunny?
Yeah, it's a rabbit in his
Okay.
passenger seat. He's feeding it carrots. Yeah.
Oh,
The bunny's name is Jack. That's what I remember.
Oh, okay, good.
And his name is Jack.
So
And the bunny's name is Jack because his daughter named the bunny Jack to be funny.
that's not funny.
Yeah, it's not that funny. So he gets this job trying to stop, foreigners from jumping the fence.
Are they named Jack?
No.
Okay.
They're probably like Javier and
That's racist.
Jose. And other J names. One was probably called Josh. So yeah, again he gets in the middle of some corrupt individuals, and
Oh, shit.
there's these former army
Sure.
disgruntled army guys.
Yeah.
They went to Afghanistan. They had a rough time. Came back home. Decided to fight the government instead.
Okay, sure.
So they have some money making scheme with the whole border situation, and then Van Damme thwarts it. And yeah. Yep.
Does the bunny survive?
The bunny does survive.
Good.
Although at the end of the movie, he goes back to his apartment,
Uh-huh.
and it's been ransacked,
Uh-huh.
and the bunny's cage has been thrown apart,
Uh-huh.
and they spend a good 2 or 3 minutes trying to
Find the bunny?
find the bunny. And it was just it was just in the cabinet the whole time, eating
Oh.
more carrots. Yeah. Yeah, that was all right.
Yeah, that one sounds pretty good.
It was less silly, but at the same time, I wasn't invested in what was going on.
Was it less silly?
I
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah, I guess there's a silly part where he gets captured, and then his boss finds out. She runs down to Mexico really quick.
Right.
She gets captured, and then
Right.
they also happen to have captured her dad,
Right.
and so
Because everybody who goes to Mexico gets captured.
yeah, and then they're holding Van Damme in this room with it's like a
Box.
it's this estate, so it's got like this spa like pool.
Oh, okay.
So he's dangling upside down over it, and they've got it wired with electricity. And then,
Are they fucking Batman villains? Like, what the Never
yeah,
mind.
they're pretty
Never mind.
high-tech soldiers. They have a pretty sweet situation. So, yeah, they're trying to get information out of him. Then they bring in his boss lady, throw a exploding collar on her, and said, if you don't tell us the information, we're going to blow her up. and then you find out that it was just a dummy device.
Right.
And then the real one was on this sculpture that the guy quickly threw one on. It's so convoluted. Whoa. And then she doesn't want to give information, so they wheel her dad in, and then they toss him into the electric spa, and he gets fried. Yeah.
Oh.
So she's bummed about that. And then finally, the last one I watched was Until
Thank
Death.
God. Okay.
Which is, I have to say,
is this a slapstick comedy?
No, it's none of these are comedies. Well, they're not intended to be comedies. This one is actually pretty. Van Damme plays. They spend like half an hour of the movie setting up that he's a really shitty cop.
Okay.
Like he's on the right side of the law, but he's a hypocrite because he also does heroin.
Okay.
So like other guys in the department try to skirt the system, and he rats them out. But he does stuff like do heroin on the side and
right.
Forge papers and things like that. Yeah. So for the first half hour, he's trying to track down his former partner. Became bad, and so they're trying to track him. They do a sting operation to try to get him, but he's obviously one up on them, so that thing goes bad, and a bunch of other cops get killed in the process. And then Van Damme's bummed about it, so he takes some more drugs to get over the pain, and there's a really good makeup job on him where he just looks like really just like rotting from the inside out. And then he has one more confrontation trying to get this, I think Calloway is the guy's name. Yeah, and it doesn't go right. Van Damme gets shot in the head. And he goes
dead?
Almost. He goes into a coma.
Okay.
They get the bullet out, but he's non-responsive.
Right.
And he's also having problems with his wife. She basically tries to divorce him before he gets shot in the head. Like there's a scene.
Like right
She's
before?
Like, we're done. Almost. Yeah. So compounding his problems.
Right.
And so he gets shot in the head, and then once he starts to wake up from the coma, the hospital's like, we got to put him somewhere. And he still owns their house, so because they didn't get divorced. So he moves in there, and then she starts falling back in love with him.
Does he have any pets? Like a
No.
rabbit? Is his name Jack?
Nope.
I don't care.
But there's some random kid that he pays to get information on the street that once he finds out that Jean-Claude Lebetter shows up, and he's like, yeah, by the way, I'm really sorry that I gave you the information to that house where you got shot at. Here's some fruit to make you feel better. And sadly, they find out that Jean-Claude's alive, so they go to that house, and that kid's like, Jean-Claude's like, I got something to do. You can stay here and hang out and watch TV while I'm gone. And, of course, the bad guys show up and kill that kid.
Are you kidding me?
Nope.
Did they eat his fruit, too?
And then they kidnap his wife.
What about the fruit?
Fruit doesn't last past that scene.
Oh.
Nothing.
It does
find out what happened.
If it was really fresh fruit, it does go bad pretty quick, so that makes sense.
And actually, I forgot. I also
God
watched...
damn it.
Seriously, last one.
Okay.
I've seen it before, but I don't think I said it on the show. I rewatched JCVD.
Right.
Which is a French film.
Yeah.
Which is really good.
Yes.
Yeah. You've seen it?
Yes.
Yeah. I hadn't seen it since the theater, and so watching it this week again, I was like able to pay more attention to it because it's mostly a dramatic movie.
Right.
There's very little action, but it's shot so well, and Van Damme's acting when he's like, they portray it as so he's thinking in his own head about his career,
right? Because he plays
in the middle of this hostage situation. Yeah, he's playing himself, who is actually still a character. Like it's not himself, but it's meant to be.
Yeah.
But when he's like, so instead of just like having like this voiceover of him talking to himself, the camera sits on his face, and then the chair starts to go up, and the camera follows his face up into the ceiling with the lights, and he just goes into this like really personal speech about his career and what things mean to him, and how he got to where he was, and how he wishes that he could give his success to more people, and he's embarrassed that he doesn't do as much in the world as other people that's important, and he doesn't understand like why he's successful and why they can't be, and he wishes he could give a piece of himself to other people who are more creative than him.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just really just touching, and
Yeah, that's a cool movie.
so highly recommend seeing JCVD.
Cool.
Yeah, and there was 2 deleted scenes, and one
Really?
when they're when the bad guys pull a hostage out to do the cigarette kick.
Okay.
It's really funny. The bad guy likes Jean-Claude Van Damme. He's a big fan, and so he wants to impress Jean-Claude by kicking a cigarette out of a hostage's mouth.
Right. That's
And the guy's like,
okay, now I remember.
okay, watch this. I haven't done this in 20 years. And Jean-Claude, under his breath, he's like, then don't do it. Yeah. By the way, the whole movie's in French, so
Right.
him saying that in French is really funny. And then the bad guy just kicks that guy in the face. But in the deleted scenes, that guy actually does it correctly.
Oh.
So it's this wide shot that they didn't use, and Jean-Claude they do this whole scene as you saw it, but Jean-Claude stands up, just nonchalantly kicks it out, no big deal, and then that actor comes around, does the whole stretching thing, and totally kicks it, and yeah, does it just.
So is it a
the
deleted
same.
scene or is
It's
it
a
a
deleted
goof?
scene. Hmm?
Like, is it a deleted scene or is it like a blooper? Like where when in that
It's labeled. I would call it a blooper, but it's called
okay.
deleted scenes. There's only 2
Huh.
scenes on that track,
okay.
but
Yeah.
they call it a deleted scene. But
Yeah,
it's,
but it almost sounds like it's one where he wasn't supposed to, but he pulls
Yeah.
off the
Why?
thing he's not supposed
Because
to be able to
what's in the movie is a different angle, so it's probably because that guy just when he actually gets hit, he just falls out of frame.
do. Right.
You only see the contact,
Yeah.
so it's probably the same take. They just had the sound effect in
Right.
there,
Right. And the cutaway, so
yeah.
that way. Okay.
because it just pans down to Jean-Claude's face, like, oh god. Yeah. So yeah, that's it.
Cool.
It's been an hour.
Probably.
What'd you
No,
watch,
it'd be-
James?
Just a couple of things. I got a chance this week to check out Chef because it's on Amazon Instant. And then I immediately, because it's got Robert Downey Jr. in it, so I immediately texted Ryan and was like, "You should just buy this because it's really good." It's a really solid like family movie. It's the kind of movie that I don't see very often anymore, right? Like they're either really dramatic or they're really actiony or they're crude comedies. It feels like everything sort of falls into one of those categories. Whereas this is really like, it almost feels like a John Hughes kind of a movie. As far as just we're going to tell you a fun story about this guy who has some stuff to learn. And so Jon Favreau plays a chef who local critics sort of said that he was like the next big thing, and people really liked him and thought he was really creative. But he's working at a restaurant run by Dustin Hoffman, who just wants him to cook the same meal every night. Like they've got a menu and they know that menu works, and so this big web blogger comes to the restaurant, and he's like, "Well, I want to cook something different." And like it starts, and he's doing all this crazy stuff, and then Dustin Hoffman comes in and goes, "No, you're going to cook the menu that people like. Like, what are you doing?" And so he clearly just feels very stifled and can't be very creative, and ends up doing exactly that. And this reviewer, who ends up being Oliver Platt, writes a really shitty review about him and says like, "Dude, this guy, it's not that good." And it clearly bugs Jon Favreau's character, and so he ends up kind of blowing up, and people like catch it on their phones and stuff like that. And he's got a son with Sofia Vergara from Modern Family, who they're divorced now, and his son's like teaching him about Twitter and that kind of stuff. But his son clearly wants them to spend more time together, and so he starts teaching him about Twitter because people are talking all this shit about him, and he wants to go like read about what they're saying. And the next thing he knows, he accidentally goes and yells at this guy, and all these people film it, and now he's like notorious for being this horrible chef. And he quits his job at that restaurant and says like, "Well, I'm going to do something else," but he can't figure out really what to do. And what ends up happening is he goes and starts his own food truck and drives this food truck across the country back to L.A. He flies to Miami, buys the food truck, builds it, learns what he's going to cook, and then drives it back across the country. And during his expedition, sort of remembers why he loves cooking, and also gets to connect with the people in his life that he has fallen out of touch with. And it's a really touching, fun story. It's a pretty tight little movie. It doesn't waste a whole lot of time, and it's got some really fun characters and funny moments in it. A lot of little sort of walk-on roles. So Scarlett Johansson is in the movie early on as like one of the waitresses or like the main waitress at the restaurant he's at. What's his name? The guy who plays Luigi in fucking John Leguizamo is in there as his sous chef. Man, who else is in there? Obviously, Robert Downey Jr. shows up as his ex-wife's other ex-husband, which that part's pretty good. He's got Robert Downey Jr. plays like I don't even know what he really does, if he's a producer or something like that in Miami. He's just very wealthy. And for whatever reason, he's got when you go into his office, his secretary makes you put on like these little slipper things over your shoes so that you don't get anything dirty. And even Robert Downey Jr. is wearing them. And then he gets in there, and like she comes in and tells him something and leaves. And Robert Downey Jr. is constantly talking about, like, he runs 2 conversations with Jon Favreau's character and is constantly bouncing back and forth. So Jon Favreau never actually knows what they're supposed to be talking about. Like, he just keeps getting confused. And Robert Downey Jr. he's really good. It's a really funny scene. But he's only in there for that scene. It feels a lot like Jon Favreau was getting back to, it's almost a little bit meta, where maybe Jon Favreau has been a little bit bored, and this is the movie where he's like, look, I'm just going to get my friends together and we're going to tell a story about being passionate about things you like, and this will be good. And it is. It's a really fun little movie. And it's cool during the credits, there's this little scene with the guy who clearly was like teaching him how to cook stuff on film and how to really look like a good chef. And it's just funny to watch the two of them sort of talk about food and how he should act while he's preparing food. Because there's a lot of stuff where he's in the shot and totally looks like he is cooking. He obviously learned how to really cut onions in a professional-looking manner. So, and that's not always easy. So, it's definitely worth checking out for sure. And then the other thing that I mentioned earlier, I went and saw The Hobbit again. That's still good. I liked it better this time than I did before. But I also watched Horns today, which is the movie with Daniel Radcliffe based on the Joe Hill novel, where Daniel Radcliffe is, I don't know, he's a 20-something-year-old kid who his girlfriend ends up dead, and one morning he wakes up with horns, and he has a certain influence over people. So I read about half the book and only put it down. I really liked it. I get distracted really easy, and so I didn't finish it. But I really enjoyed it. And some of what's cool about that book is that it starts kind of like the Metamorphosis by Kafka. It just sort of starts and he has horns, and you learn the story and what's going on down the line. And so there's always this mystery about, like, why does he have horns? And this movie feels a lot more like they wanted to make a more serious Twilight movie, because they lean really hard on the romance between them, and that being like this, faded love, and that, like, he's gonna, try to figure out who really killed her, and then they can be together again, and he's like giving up his soul for her, and like there's just like that whole part is a little bit wimpy to me. And there's this horrible voiceover. It starts with the voiceover. Every now and then the voiceover pops in. It feels like an afterthought. Like, it feels like a Blade Runner add-on where it's just like, why did you do this? Why didn't you just tell this story in a way that was interesting and write it so that the characters could say how they feel or show how they feel rather than just telling us, right? It's pretty messy. The makeup on the horns is really good, but I don't even know that I can recommend it because it's really obvious too. Like 20 minutes in, so in this version it starts off and they go through like a whole day where he doesn't have the horns, and you just see like because everybody in the town suspects that he is the killer. They just can't prove it. And one of his like childhood friends is his lawyer, and about 20 minutes in, they do right after he first gets the horns, he goes to his doctor, and basically like people see the horns, but as soon as they look away, they kind of forget that they're there, and they do a very poor job at really defining what the power is. So in this case, like a lot of people tend to tell him like their deepest, darkest secrets. They tend to be very honest with him, and they sort of tend to ask for his permission to do things that they want to do, but they know they shouldn't. So like the very first scene where he has the horns, there's this young woman who's like, "Oh man, do you think I could eat another donut? Do you think I could eat all these donuts? Can I just eat all of them?" And he says yes, and she just like puts her whole face in the box and starts eating them. But it feels very unnatural. It's not very funny, and it's there are a lot of scenes where you're supposed to feel like, oh man, like these people are telling him these horrible, like he goes and sees his parents and his mom tells him like, man, like I wish you would just disappear. Like I'm really tired of hearing about your problems, and I think you murdered your girlfriend, and I really wish you just weren't here because it's so much work to be around you. And that sounds horrible, but it probably sounds more convincingly horrible when I say it now than it does in the movie. Like it just feels very forced, which is just too bad. I don't know. And some of that's just the pacing. But so after when he goes to the doctor and the doctor like starts to saw off his horns, which spoilers doesn't work. He sort of passes out and has this like 10 or 15 minute long flashback sequence that kind of feels like the beginning of It's a Wonderful Life, where like he and his friends are running around and they're doing stupid stuff and blowing up shit with cherry bombs, and then he almost drowns, and then the next day like and before that he meets this girl at the church who ends up being the girlfriend that gets killed, and like then he and this other friend fix her necklace. Like there's this long story, and of course all of the characters that are important then are the characters he's dealing with now, and spoilers, the things that happen in there where one of them gets hurt is a part of the reason why the girl ends up dead, and it's just so obvious. So nothing is a surprise. I knew exactly who the killer was, and not because I read the book, because obviously I didn't finish it, so I didn't know who the killer was. But it feels like they read the book and said, well, all these things are important. We have to do it exactly the way they did there. And that's not really true. Like, they didn't need to give us all those details. What they needed to give us was a really interesting mystery with a cool supernatural power and some characters that were kind of fun and some heavy emotional moments. I don't need, like, oh, well, this character only has 3 fingers because he got his hand blown off by a cherry bomb, and, like, that's part of why he's still pissed about some shit, and early on he admitted that he liked this person, and, like, no, I don't care. Like, it just makes for a shittier movie, and totally kills the momentum of, you know, you wanted to see this movie because Daniel Radcliffe grows horns for some reason. And if all of a sudden I spend 15 minutes with some little kid who does not have horns, I'm not that interested. Then it's just some movie about some kids. So I was honestly pretty disappointed. Also, Daniel Radcliffe, really bad at hiding his accent. Like, Sam Worthington bad at hiding his accent. Like, there were a number of times where he would say a word and I would go, what the fuck? That's not how Americans say this. Like, especially Americans in Maine.
I guess I don't pay attention to accents enough because I've never, like, I know Ryan's commented on Sam Worthington's non-accent all the time, but I don't think I've ever noticed it in a movie ever.
I don't even know that I've noticed Sam Worthington as much as I noticed this one. This one was a lot, because there are some people like an Alice Eve who can, or a Hugh Laurie who can just turn it on and off like a switch, and it's amazing.
Hugh Laurie is pretty good at that.
Hugh Laurie's really good at it. Daniel Radcliffe is good sometimes, but sometimes it's just like, it seems like he doesn't think he has to try.
I don't know that I've seen enough of him. Like, I mean, I didn't even see all the Harry Potter movies, so like, I don't
Technically,
really know.
neither did I. But this is the first non-Harry Potter movie of his I've seen. It's too bad Ryan's not here because I know he saw the Woman in Black. Is that what it was called? Of course, I don't know if that movie. Maybe he's British in that movie too. But that's the only movie I can even think of where Daniel Radcliffe is in it, not as Harry Potter. So, anyway,
Well, I think over there it'd be like The Dame in Black or something. So
right, you're very right.
Yeah,
So it must be American.
it must be an American film.
Everybody.
It opens with monster trucks and like Harrier jets. So of course,
Yeah,
it's
they
an
don't.
American
They don't
film.
have the word. They don't have the word woman in England.
No, it's sexist
Dames,
and racist somehow too.
ladies, wench,
Wench.
wenches.
That's a word.
Anyway,
yeah.
so yeah.
Why don't we have wenches anymore? Why are there no more wenches?
Why can't I call my waitress wench? I think they do have wench. I think Twin Peaks. Those are all wenches, aren't they?
Let's
anyway,
not even start talking about Twin Peaks.
so
You and I both know a girl that works at Twin Peaks now.
I know.
Yeah.
I really want to unfriend her on Facebook just because I hate. I'm sorry, but I hate seeing the pictures of her at work. I just go like, God damn it!
Yeah,
You are too smart for that.
she is.
Like, good.
Well, she was. I don't know. Like,
Yeah, maybe she got dumber. I don't know.
anyways.
So yeah, we just lost our entire Twin Peaks audience. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
All three
all
women
4 million of them.
that listen to us. One of them works at Twin Peaks and stopped listening. Yeah. So I don't know. Horns is kind of interesting, but it's a complete failure of an adaptation as far as I'm concerned. So, cool. This week we saw The Interview. Dan, should people see The Interview?
Yeah, they should.
Brad, should people see The Interview?
Sure. Yeah,
Uh,
it's funny.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know if it's the event of the year. But
Oh hell no! but that expectation is unfair, right? Like they didn't cause this hype.
Yeah, they were
In fact-
trying to go for it, but the way it's being treated at this point, it feels like it
Right.
should be. But
Yeah,
take that away, it's just another funny comedy.
Yeah.
that you'll probably watch once and then you'll be good for the rest of your life.
yeah, I totally agree. It's a movie that had some fun bits in it and some funny little jokes that I enjoyed and some scenes that I was like, oh, that's creative, but not one that I will return to often. Definitely not as good as like even a Pineapple Express, like we talked about earlier.
Yeah, we were kind of chatting. Like, I mean, like you can laugh at this all you want, but I actually think Pineapple Express is like
Great.
like almost amazing.
Yeah.
Like it's hysterical. Like my dad, who has nothing to do with stoner culture. I mean, like I don't either, but I'm younger and I understand it. Like the
Yeah.
way that people talk about it nowadays.
Yeah,
And we watched it with him, and he was in tears.
yeah,
Just because it was so like relatable, I guess, or even just like it that you believed those characters, I guess.
When there's a lot less,
And so like clearly like Seth Rogen and these other guys are very capable actors and very capable writers, and they can kind of put this thing together very well. And The Interview it's a funny movie. Like we all laughed a whole bunch, but
yeah.
at the end of the day, like I don't know,
Is it a must see? No.
no.
If certainly not. I think it's a must support, not a must see. Does that make sense? Like I totally think that people should go out and see this movie, if only to make a statement. But do you have to go see it? Like, if not for all of the context, do you have to go see it? No, you don't
Probably
have to.
not. I mean, I
But
did
it's good.
like
it is worth seeing.
I did like a lot of the kind of running jokes through it.
Yeah.
Like the one dude eats the thing, and then every time they see him,
Yes.
they keep, hey, are you okay? How are you feeling?
Right.
You look alive so far.
Yeah.
Just kind of just things like that.
Well, all right. Here, let's
Sure.
do the trailer and then we'll get into it because there are some things I want to talk about for
Right.
sure.
You know, people say that actors lie for a living, but this is living a lie.
Okay, Rob, when you're ready.
Get ready, camera 2.
Oh, Jesus, fuck.
Whoa.
His head looks like somebody's taint.
You barely look different.
Thanks, man.
Come on. We've been together for 1,000 episodes.
Congratulations on 1,000 hours of being a massive sellout. What do you mean?
Guys, some pictures just came out where it looks like McConaughey's fucking a goat.
Ooh. McConaughey goat fuck?
McConaughey goat fuck.
Get him, get the goat! Get the goat!
Got some questions for that goat.
Every night, millions of people watch our show. I just want to cover actual news, not Nicki Minaj's vagina fucking flopping out at the Grammys.
You don't like that brown sugar?
Has nothing to do with brown sugar.
Aaron, look at this.
Kim Jong-un wants to do an interview with Dave Skylark?
He's a fan. Look at this butt fuck. If that ain't a real story, what is?
Okay, let's fucking do it.
We're going to North Korea!
Mr. Rappaport, I'm Agent Lacey with Central Intelligence.
Yo, Aaron! Whew. Yo, I don't know who I fucked last night, but I got some stink dick!
Dave, it's actually,
Woo! Yo, Aaron, does your dick stink? So weird how you, just want to keep smelling it, though.
Dave, the CIA is here.
You two are going to be in a room alone with Kim.
We got the interview!
The CIA would love it if you could take him out. Take him out.
Like for drinks?
Like to dinner?
Take him out in the town?
No, take him out.
You want us to kill the leader of North Korea?
Yes.
What? Hello, North Korea!
We might die, but we'd be total dickheads if we didn't do this.
I've had a great life. I had the best friend. Fucked more women than Ellen DeGeneres.
Kim must die!
That's the American way.
Is this what you want? You like it?
You have to secure the payload.
What do I do with it? What do I do with it?
There are people coming.
Where the fuck do I hide it?
What if you hide it in your butt?
I don't want to stick it in my ass.
You gotta put it in your butt right now.
It's a little big to stick up my ass.
They are closing in on you.
The package is secure.
That?
Yes.
Oh,
Fucking weapon of ass destruction.
you got fucked by RoboCop, dude.
Yeah, I think it's really good. There's a lot more breathing room in this movie than I expected, right? Like
How so?
Pineapple Express, a Pineapple Express or 21 Jump Street, the sort of those movies that really have blown me away in the last 6 years in this kind of a comedy, right? Like in a dude, toilet humor kind of movie.
Okay.
The really good ones, the jokes, there's a high joke per minute value, right? Like they don't let up. Whereas here, there's a lot of breathing room as far as like, okay, we got to get Seth Rogen out into this field so he can fight a tiger and then put this thing up his ass. So but it's a pretty long sequence.
Oh yeah,
and there's not a lot of. It's not like joke, which is the way that Pineapple Express feels. Like the chemistry between those characters, the just number of sheer dumb things happening. And I think that's because Pineapple Express, the plot is paper thin. Whereas here, they have this big thing they have to achieve, right? Like that you've got to get these characters to go to North Korea and do all this crazy shit, which means that there's like a long montage of Seth Rogen going to China and climbing a fucking mountain to meet a helicopter that a hot chick comes out of. Like that's what I mean, right?
Yeah.
No one was laughing during the montage in China. Whereas I don't know that there's a lot of that kind of stuff in a Pineapple Express or a 21 Jump Street.
They don't really have to build anything up.
Exactly.
It's just here's all the stuff that's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And 21 Jump Street has more of a plot to it, but 21 Jump Street is also so self-aware that it just says like, you're going to do something fucking stupid, let's go do it. And then like that's the whole plot.
Sure.
So,
yeah. Yeah, and I actually did fall asleep during the interview,
Really?
but we watched it on Christmas.
Oh, okay.
And all I did all day on Christmas was again babysat my niece and nephew.
Right.
I ate a shitload of ham.
Okay.
I drank a shitload of beer. And then I fell asleep during the last 20 minutes of the interview.
Okay.
I liked what I saw.
I
will go back
you
and
eating ham and drinking beer while watching the children.
No, I was. Actually, yes,
Oh, shit.
totally. So there were maybe 5 or 6 other adults around too, though.
Okay.
So it wasn't just me, but still,
Yeah.
the complete handful. But I'm gonna have to go back at some point and watch that movie again.
What part did you fall asleep in?
It was the last 20 minutes.
Did you see them kill Kim Jong Un?
I saw the tank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then it was probably the last swell of music when the credits started that woke me back up.
Yeah.
But I feel like this. We talked about this a little bit earlier, but it's just this is just kind of going to be one of those things that is going to live and die by the news around it instead of the actual merits of the movie. It was funny. No one's really going to be talking about the interview in 2 years.
And even when they do, they'll be talking about it in context of what happened here.
Yeah.
Rather than
It was funny.
I
I liked that movie. It was funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there are plenty of comedies even this year that I enjoyed more. For sure. I think that were it not for the news, this would be a fun but forgettable comedy. Where it's oh yeah, they did a wacky thing.
Other people thought it was a deep satire that full of meaning and messages.
Really?
Yeah.
Did we get a message that said exactly that?
Pretty much from Russell Ben Hedman.
Hey,
who is 1/4 of the band Filthy T.
Cool.
And did a song for Jean-Claude Van Damme's Damn Van. He said, in response to some comments I made, that this movie has lots of bromance and dick jokes indeed, but I think I laughed hardest at all of the excellent juxtaposition of the pointlessness of consumer capitalism versus the bleakness totalitarian socialism. They come back numerous in the film to Katy Perry, the Katy Perry song Firework, which represents probably the most profitable music venture of the last couple of years at least. The lyric that they focus on is possibly the most inane, pointless lyric of all time. And this is it. Do you ever feel like a plastic bag drifting through the wind, wanting to start again? Just awesome. And I assume that's sarcastic?
Well, I think he's saying that the juxtaposition there is...
Or is he referencing the
he's
awesome, yeah. When you zoom out from that, there's the bigger picture of what James Franco's character is doing with the entirety of his life, interviewing celebrities about their nonsense issues, and as Rogan's character puts it, shoveling shit down the throats of their viewers ad nauseum.
Mm-hmm.
The film kind of concludes with a face-off between capitalist nonsense and communist bleakness in the form of a back-and-forth interview. When Franco challenges the reality of Kim's rule, Kim quite astutely points out the massive incarceration rates in the U.S. and various issues spawned in our capitalist state. Franco, molded by capitalism into not much more than a talking head, has no idea what to say. He resorts to Katy Perry, the secret weapon of capitalism: victory. I hope it wins a fucking Oscar. So, I can see that, but I don't know if I was supposed to read that deeply into the movie.
Yeah, I don't think that that's really there.
But
I really don't. I'm sorry.
That's what art does, is
how
people interpret.
I agree.
I mean, we're calling this movie art, but in the sense that it is someone's creative expression, not so much it's not the Mona Lisa, but
right,
or something.
I don't know. Yeah, that feels like stretching to me. I think that Katy Perry being a dumbass song does not make this a better movie, or is not part of the master plan of this movie. I think that the idea of James Franco singing Katy Perry with Kim Jong Un is what was funny, and so they thought that was worth it.
Right. That's how I see it.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think these things are maybe just unintentional, based on the subconscious effort of trying to make jokes in the movie.
Yeah,
based on this premise.
Because based on that interpretation, if that's not, if they weren't trying to make that point, right? Like if they weren't trying to have, so he says that in the interview, James Franco is too dumb to actually make any good arguments about actual politics, and so he resorts to the only thing that the only tools of capitalism or whatever, which are fucking Katy Perry or whatever. No, they do that because if the movie suddenly turned into Frost Nixon, it wouldn't be funny, right? Like you can't actually end the movie with James Franco making good political arguments about whether or not capitalism is any good, or communism is any good, and they're also not demonizing him as being a communist. They're demonizing him as being a brainwashing, manipulative dictator who keeps all of his people starving to death while he lives in a crazy house and, pretends like everything's okay when it's not. Because their goal ends up being... I will say that I think the smartest thing here is that they start off and they're on this mission to kill Kim Jong-un, and that even these guys, well, actually they don't. The North Korean woman is smart enough to say, no, killing him doesn't actually do any good. The truth is, you have to reveal the fact that he has an asshole to all of the people of North Korea. Right?
I actually was awake for that part, and that's really good.
That is actually the smart thing about this. For me, I'm not saying that Russell's wrong. I mean, I don't think it's quite that deep.
So even let's say that it is. So let's say that it is that deep. So even if that was an accident, even if that's not what they intended by including some of that stuff in the film,
it is still there.
But also, how much less effective does that make it? Some probably, but a lot or just a little. That's not even a question that you have to answer, because maybe there isn't even an answer to that question. But
so I understand what you're saying. I think first you have to ask whether or not it's effective, and for Russell it is. For me, it's not. So if what he's saying is
true, and again that is such a subjective thing that it's like
exactly So that's what I'm saying is like, if what he's saying is true, and that was the intent, was that they wanted to juxtapose the capitalism of Katy Perry with the communism of Kim Jong-un, or just the capitalism of basically TMZ reporting and Kim Jong-un, and use that to talk about whether or not, about consumerism versus communism. I think that it's already not effective. So then the question of whether or not it's more effective, well, I don't know.
Yeah.
I see what you're asking, but
I don't know. I don't think you're wrong. I don't think he's wrong.
Yeah.
It's just I don't know. Try to keep an open mind about that stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like it's there. That's not what I'm looking for when I watch the movie.
Yeah.
The focus that I see is,
I think it's there, but only innately when you're making fun of TMZ. That's part of what you're making fun of.
Like it's inherent in the premise of like a movie about a dictator.
But whether or not it is a part of their master plan to choose a inane Katy Perry song, they could have chosen any Katy Perry song. They're all fucking inane. A
Miley Cyrus song could have worked. A Taylor Swift song could have worked.
Yeah.
There's
this
so
one's,
much
this one's
American
good because
consumerism examples that you could throw in there.
Yeah, this one's good because it's pulling a shitty reference to American Beauty, and I don't know. But
did she write that lyric based on that movie? Because that's what I thought.
She had to. And even, here's the thing, it wasn't good in American Beauty. It's a fucking poor ripoff of a thing that happened in Forrest Gump that wasn't even necessarily original there, but is way better in Forrest Gump than, because it's so on the nose in American Beauty. Anyway, and then when Katy Perry sings it, it's just complete garbage. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's that smart. I just don't.
Yeah. I agree.
I think that yeah.
It doesn't have to be that smart.
No.
Maybe it can, in the end, just be a movie that was funny.
Yeah.
So.
And it was.
Yeah.
The honey potting jokes were the honey dicking jokes were very funny. Yeah. Lizzie Kaplan is good.
Yeah. I liked her.
The scene where he's trying to have sex with the Asian woman but can't touch her with his right hand. That was funny.
That was good.
They kill a tiger.
Yeah, they do. I think I remember that.
That was pretty okay. There's some good talk about putting stuff up his butt. That was pretty okay. Especially later.
Like huge
it's
things,
really
too.
Good. Yeah, it's really the sequel scene to that when he shows it to James Franco's character. He's like, "Oh shit, I didn't know it was that big." Like that was really when it was great. Yeah, like I thought it was just the size of your thumb. Yeah, right. Like it's just
like as if it were smaller, James Franco would have had no problem with it,
right?
Or something.
Yeah.
Like, also, why does Seth Rogen play the exact same character? Like James Franco is a very capable actor.
Yeah. And James Franco is a different James Franco character in this movie. He's almost more. He's not even just dumber. He's like more desperate or more of an asshole. Even
he's more of an asshole in this one. He was he played a very desperate character in Pineapple Express.
Yes.
Yes. He was just much more like kind of stupid, but also just like shitty.
Yeah.
Here,
he doesn't seem like a very good friend.
No.
You know, like that was almost. I was half expecting there to be a scene where like the two of them square off and go like, "Dude, you're kind of the worst."
Yeah, they have the whole like 2/3 of the way through falling out.
Yeah, they do. Right. Yeah. But that's just a disagreement. Like they don't stop being friends at that point. They just disagree about what's right.
Sure.
Interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
It's. I think it's definitely worth seeing. I don't think you have to see it in theaters, but you probably should. You know. But if you're in a city where you can't, then go rent it online.
Yeah, if you have no other means.
You said it was like $7?
It was like $6. It was like $5.99 or like $6.99 on YouTube. Go to youtube.com/
Is that a website?
Some movie.
Okay.
And you'll find it there.
Yeah, I think it's definitely at least worth that.
And then look at the Charlie Bit My Finger video or whatever.
Yeah. Then just
because you're on YouTube.
Just spend like a couple hours just watching stupid, just like babies laughing, or whatever dumb shit you can watch on YouTube.
I'm on a boat. I think that's there.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Probably. Yeah, just some Lonely Island shit, and yeah. Check out YouTube. Man, check out YouTube.
We had a whole revelation over Christmas, my whole family and I, that the best Lonely Island thing is the Michael Bolton Jack Sparrow one.
Oh yeah.
That one is so fucking good. They invite him in. They're like, we just want you to do this like in the club drinking song with us. He's like, yeah, I just saw the Pirates of the Caribbean. It's really good. And they're like, yeah, okay, but we're gonna do the song. And all he wants to do is sing about fucking Jack Sparrow. Yep. Oh, it's really good.
Yeah.
Shit. All right. Well, sorry.
Man. No, that was good. Cool. Anything else? No? Fred?
Jean-Claude Van Damme's Damn Van is playing January 17th at the Bug Theater.
I meant about the interview, but yeah, you want to post
I
some
thought we
shit?
were wrapping it up.
We are. No, we are.
Yeah.
We are. Cool. Which night again?
January 17th, 9 p.m.-ish at the Bug Theater.
Awesome.
You have to buy tickets this time because we're part of a festival, not our own thing.
Cool.
I believe it'll be $5 for the block, $10 for the day, and $15 for the whole 3 days of the festival. So, come see it.
Cool.
Again, if you've already seen it, and for the first time if you haven't.
Awesome. That sounds cool. And then that's a Saturday, Dan says. Yep, that is correct. And then we are also doing the Film Explosion next week, so make sure you get your votes, lists, anecdotes, stories, quips, whatever about your favorite movies from the year. Just stuff you don't want us to forget about. Maybe tell us about some shit you did not like.
My top 10 is...
Wait. Next week.
No, it's short.
Okay.
And you won't have me.
Call it in. Or write it in.
What if I just spoiled it and gave it to you now?
I'll
I'll write it in.
Okay, that's the way you're supposed to do it. Write it on a sticky note and give it to me. Send it in an email. Send it onto our Facebook page. Tweeter it to us.
I'll Instagram it to you.
I don't know if we have one of those.
sepia
I think
tone
we do.
picture.
Yes. You could create a Trello board and invite it to us.
God.
You could, all the ways. They're all the way. Take a photo of each movie in order and send them to us in one way or another to the Real Nerds.
I'll get the top 10 high scores on some arcade game and make that.
Yes, and fill out like the
yeah.
abbreviation of each title as the names, and then mail us the entire arcade machine.
Yeah.
Please make it a Galaga machine. That's my favorite.
Galaga's pretty okay.
Galaga's pretty okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's this week. Next week is that Film Explosion, so we won't be seeing a movie. What would we be seeing? What actually even comes out next week? Is there anything?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's
I
too
think
bad
the
for that
Woman
movie.
in Black.
Oh, The Woman in Black 2?
2, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's
I
too
can
bad.
double check real quick.
Daniel Radcliffe's accent isn't in that movie, so. But not because he tries so hard to keep it out, just because he's not in that movie.
Leviathan and A Most Violent Year come out on the Wednesday.
Cool.
But The Woman in Black 2 is the Friday, and then the week after that is Taken 3.
And at some point, American Sniper goes wide, so we'll probably have that out here somewhere. But
January 16th.
I think we're going to count that as a 2015 movie.
Yeah. With Black Hat, Paddington, The Wedding Ringer, and Still Alice.
What's the other little indie movie that just
Inherent Vice is January 9th with Taken 3. But yeah, next week, Woman in Black 2 will be missing because we'll be doing Film Explosion. So.
Yeah. And Inherent Vice we're counting as a 2015 movie.
I am.
Oh, no, for sure. No. And then there's one... Well, anyway. There's some other little indie movie that's coming out, like limited release this week, that we'll push back to 2015. Which inevitably means that it never gets... They rarely get counted on
Selma?
top 10 lists.
Unbroken? Gambler? Is everything in them?
Any of those. Thanks for coming, Dan.
Yeah, thanks for me.
Yep.
Being here.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Bye.
Visit our website, realnerdspodcast.com. You can tweet us at real_nerds. You can email us even, realnerds@gmail.com. Like us on Facebook. Hey, stream us on Stitcher. You want to call us? 720-6nerds5. And download us on iTunes. Just search Real Nerds. Thank you, Joe Kempter, for the wonderful voiceover. And also Spark Mandrill for the wonderful late-night jazz smooth sounds of movies. You can find them on SoundCloud. This has been a Nebulous Visions production.